Someone says here, service police. Well, let me just bring this. She says, the average Nigerian is self-centered. Ebola was a success because it was a threat to their own lives. That's why.
That's in response to that.
Yeah. Let me ask Mr. Lawrence. Mr. Lawrence, you were talking about prevention. Well, let's cut down because we're almost out of time. What are the things that each resident should have? What kind of equipment, for instance, fire? The safety guys will also tell us the other things. But fire, for instance, I'm living in a house. What are the basic equipment I should have in case of an emergency?
Well, thank you. In case of a fire outbreak in a house, first is about your exit. Your house must have a proper exit, known to your family. Because sometimes we talk about armed robbers. That is why we have so many burglary proof in our homes and locked with about 10 padlocks. And you don't even stop at that. We even remove the keys, kept somewhere. When emergency comes, you won't remember where the keys are. So what we advise or advocate here is that you, even with just one key, let the key remain at the port so that in case of emergency, when you are woken up from sleep, you can easily open the door. Next is your fire equipment. You must have a potential fire equipment in your home that you can use at any point in time. And that is why we recommend that you have your CO2, the carbon dioxide or fire extinguishers, installed in an ideal place, an open place where you can easily access it, not even in your store. Because when emergency happens, what happens is that every one of us here will rush out. Yes. So when you rush out, then it comes back to your senses that I have an extinguisher somewhere. Where is the extinguisher? Once your extinguisher is at your reach, you can easily pick it and apply. Then call the fire service. That is why in Lagos State today, we have an emergency number. The 767 and 112, they are free numbers, free lines. You have money, you don't have money. You can make a call.
767 and 112.
Yes. It's well advocated. So you can just call any of these, and we advise that every resident of Lagos should have those two lines on their phones, because at least about 3/4 of residents of Lagos has phone. But ask them, what is the emergency phone number? They don't know it. And that is why the government so made it that it is just a 3-digit numbers.
Okay, 1 second. Let's take this call. Hello? Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Am I on to the program?
Nena, yes, please go ahead.
I wanted to say, since we've been having fire outbreaks, it's been so long and so many that we should have had. Those things they have abroad. On the front of every street, you have it with water, so that they don't have this incident of the water has finished from the tank and the person has gone back to get water. It's so ridiculous. We've been having fire outbreaks. This is part of what we should be talking about. It's very important. Lagos, for instance, doesn't lack water. We have water in Lagos. So all the Lagos Island, every street should have it. Even if it means people paying for it, people will pay. Once they come, they just put in their hose and then get water, not having one tanker coming and going. We talk and we don't practice it. Let's do practical things. Let's see them. Good morning.
All right.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Yeah, the issue about fire in Lagos is not even about not having water. The fire appliance will carry water. And in fact, in Lagos State now, we now have fire hydrants. If you go about Lagos now, we have these new fire hydrants, pillar type, that you can easily view. So with that, we always get water to attend to fire incidents. It's not about no water. So it's only about residents to take caution. They can prevent fire themselves. Fire prevention is everybody's business, not just the fire service.
And then to give you access.
Exactly.
We'll come back as we wind down, but let's hear what are the other things, Akpong, that you should have in the house. It's talked about the fire extinguisher, it's talked about accessibility, as in keys to the doors and all. What are the other things that should be in the house for safety?
For safety, you should also have a fire, just to continue on the fire side, you should have a fire blanket, because that should be in the kitchen especially.
What is a fire blanket?
Yeah, a fire blanket is a piece of cloth. It's a piece of cloth that is fire retardant. And if you have it and you keep it in a drawer like a lot of the people I see do, it doesn't do anything there. It's useless. But if you have it and you train everyone who goes to the kitchen to do one or two things, that when the oil you have on the pan suddenly catches fire, the best thing to do is not to turn water into it, because that will escalate the fire. But the thing to do is to slowly, cautiously turn off the fire supply, and then you can use that fire blanket to wrap the pot or whatever is on fire from where the fire is coming.
Where does one get a fire blanket?
Fire blankets are sold everywhere you can buy fire extinguishers from.
Oh.
But
They're
then we don't
available.
advise you just go to the street and buy fire equipment.
Yeah.
Come to the fire service. We have accredited dealers,
Okay.
certified by Lagos State government and Lagos State Fire Service that we can introduce you to. We'll give you 2-3 names. You make your choice.
Okay.
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 And I always
From the
advocate.
fire blanket, yes.
I always advocate that the safest thing, the safest instrument, the safest resource, the safest thing you can have in a home is a trained hand. That's why I'm on and on and on about advocacy and awareness. If you have a parent or a child who is very well trained in safety, you know that before you go to bed, check the doors are locked, go to the kitchen, ensure things are turned off, and I know of people who have left oil and food on the fire and gone to bed. So if we have a trained hand, people who go around, check all these things before we go to bed, and before we leave the house, someone goes around, do a quick safety sweep, and just check that everything is turned off. That goes a long way to prevent mishaps. You know, safety,
Slippery
fire.
tiles. People slip on tiles. They say,
Exactly.
what should be the safety precautions?
Yeah,
there?
slippery tiles. Especially, I had an incident where I witnessed it. A child just slipped and fell backwards and had an injury on the head. What people should do when you're cleaning, clean dry. You know, instead of, if for instance you're cleaning this side of the building, you can close the door and say, look, I'm cleaning this side for now. Nobody comes here until I'm through. And your cleaning is first phase wet, second phase dry. So that when people come to walk past there, it's already dry and it's not that slippery. And then in offices, you can get a caution sign to warn people, slippery floors or slippery stairs or whatever. And of course, staircases in public buildings should have their edges with strips, with rough strips that prevent people from slipping over. But that is not to say you should walk on it when it's wet.
Okay.
So, but then, of
All
course, you should have that.
Thank you. As we wind down, in closing.
In closing, on a final note, I still want to be of the advocacy that the electricity supply is a source of the incessant fire and such from them. One area which all homes need to concentrate on is to bring in a certified electricians. Most houses are not even having earth where you have such to dissipate the excess current and ground it. They need to invite the technician to actually check on all their appliances and the fittings that they use and now go to the right source where to get the right fittings to use in their homes.
Okay.
They are pretty expensive, but it's the best way and the right way
And it
to
will
go.
save
Thank you.
lives.
To save life.
On a final note, I'd just like to say that I go back to the Ebola story. People heard that Ebola was a disease, it could kill people, and they did everything that was said to prevent it. Now we've been saying so much about fire, and people did nothing. Now we can see fire is everywhere. Yesterday we had one in a mechanic workshop. The other day there was one on Broad Street. You don't even know where the next one is going to come from. So just like we did, we got hand sanitizers, we got everything. Let's go all out. Let's do all the inspections. Let's get an electrician.
Let's
check
get
our
fire
buildings.
extinguishers.
And get the fire blanket.
extinguishers,
Okay.
get fire blankets.
Thank you.
Let's train
Mr. Lawrence.
ourselves.
Yeah. Lastly, I will just advise that even now that power is being restored, we still use generator. So our generator should be away from the building, and we should not refuel while it is working or hot. And to our kitchen, the cylinder should be outside the kitchen. The cylinder should be outside the kitchen and piped in, where you now have this burner. And as of today, you don't even need matches to light your burners. They have automatic burners that once you strike on, it comes up. So with that, we are edging towards a safer environment, a fire-free Lagos.
Thank you.
Kenile.
And finally, I still want to appeal that we should all learn to live a safe, precautionary lives at homes, offices, and within the society to ensure that all this that have been mentioned are complied with, not necessarily waiting for anybody to monitor or to supervise us, because a life lost can't be regained. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let me just read this tweet before I close. Daniel Uche says, I left the road for a bus escorting some white men last week and felt so stupid allowing on the traffic. They should just stop them as they're blowing sirens.
Yes. When those blowing sirens unofficially are on the roads, we all see because you have a mirror. We are not saying allow this. But when fire trucks are moving, when ambulances are moving, when our vehicles are on the road, you can see us clearly from your side mirrors.
Okay,
allow us and block those ones that are doing illegal
illegal sirens.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Remember the toll-free numbers 767 and 112 in case of an emergency within Lagos. Thank you. We've been speaking with the General Manager of the Lagos Emergency Management Agency, Mr. Michael Akindele.
Thank you.
From the Fire Service Lagos State, Fire Prevention Officer Sonwo Lawrence, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Kamil Dean Abiodun is a health and safety expert.
Thank you.
And Julius Akbong, also a health and safety expert. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Sunrise Daily will be back. Sunrise will be back in a moment. Don't go away.